Hi, I'm April. I am a singer-songwriter and music teacher, and today we're going to be talking about the sounds of your words. Before we get started, I just wanted to mention really quick that I have a new single out. I'm really excited about it. It's called Retrograde. So I'm going to put a link up here to the YouTube video. And below in the description, I'm going to put links to Spotify and iTunes and all the other great places. So I really hope you enjoy that. And now we're going to talk about word sounds. So we're going to talk about the concept of phonesthetics. When you break apart the word phonesthetics, you get phone, which is the Greek word for voice or sound, and the word aesthetics, which just means the beauty of something. So when you put those together, phonesthetics just means the inherent beauty of sound. If you've ever seen Donnie Darko, then you've heard the phrase cellar door as being the most beautiful sounding phrase in the English language. And of course it sounds much prettier if you pronounce it cellar door as opposed to cellar door. But I've been doing a lot of thinking about why this phrase in particular sounds really pretty. And in my vocalist brain, I separate it into consonants and vowels. When you learn to sing or when you're listening to a song, you can kind of imagine vowel sounds as being the book, as being the content, as being the thing that you want to linger on. Whereas your consonants are the bookends. Those are the things that keep your words together and make them sound like words as opposed to just pretty noises. So if you break up cellar door, you get s, e, l, a, d, o, r. Now it's really difficult to piece together why all of those syllables would sound really pretty on their own, but if you separate them into vowels and consonants, it becomes a lot clearer. So let's start with vowels. The vowels in the word cellar door are e, a, o. So what I want you to do is say those out loud. E, a, o. E, a, o. Now, if you're really paying attention to the way that your mouth feels while you say these words, you might notice that you're starting in the back of your mouth and you move forward. E, a, o. So that sound actually starts to shift forward in your mouth as you're saying it. Now, when you sing those, it's even more apparent. E, a, o. You can see the way that my mouth is actually physically moving. E, a, o. Now, to me personally, there is something really pleasant about starting a sound at the back of my mouth and moving it forward. When you think about vowel sounds, there are a few different vowel sounds that you're kind of using. So you've got E, which is in the front of your face, right by your teeth, E, ah is straight up and down, ah, O, and oo. If you want to go even further, you can go to which is really guttural and like down here. So in using the placements of those words and actually moving them in your mouth in a certain direction, there's a really appealing sound that happens because vowels are innately very free and open sounding. Now when it comes to the consonants of cellar door, divide it into the two types of consonant sound, voiced consonants and unvoiced consonants. So a voiced consonant would be that l sound. B, g, d. Those are all voiced consonant sounds. Whereas p, k, t are all unvoiced sounds. Because when you're making those sounds, p, you don't have to use your actual voice at all. It's all happening kind of p, p, k, p, t in the front of your mouth. Those are the consonant sounds that you tend to associate with beatboxing, for instance. Now, interestingly, for all of our unvoiced vowels, there is a voiced vowel that's kind of its parallel. So if you think of B, which is that voiced vowel, if you don't put any vibration behind it, or if your voice doesn't happen at all, B becomes P. So you can see how those two sounds are exactly the same, just one has voice behind it and one doesn't. So in our word cellar door, we've got a bit of a mix. We've got S, which is an unvoiced vowel, that L sound, L, which is a voiced sound, R, which is voiced, and D, which is also voiced. And then of course we get another R at the end. Now that we know that we're using one unvoiced sound and several voiced sounds, as well as some really round, beautiful vowels that are starting in the back of our mouth and moving forward, why does this word sound so pretty? Cellar door. Cellar door. My speculation here is that it feels like we're opening the back of our mouths. Cellar door. So when we start that S sound or the C sound, s, it feels like we're opening up into that S sound. S, And then as the word continues, cela, our mouths get more open. And then we continue to build that openness, celador, until we have this beautiful open sound. Now on the other side of inherently beautiful words, there are also inherently funny words. There are lots of words that could be considered inherently funny words, and I'm sure that you can just think of some off the top of your head. I personally think of razzmatazz or hemi-demi-semiquaver. There are tons of reasons why a word can innately sound funny, but a big reason to me is the fact that some syllables are just more uncommon than other syllables. In the English language, we don't tend to have many words that have a z sound in them. So when you hear a word, zipper, it sounds quirky and funny because we're just not used to hearing that letter. Q can also be a really funny letter because that K sound, k, combined with that w sound, neither of which are very common syllables in our language. When you put them together to get that Q, you get this qu. That can be kind of funny. So when you hear the word quack, 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 it's just a funny sounding word. Now that Q sound isn't the only reason that the word quack is funny. It also bookends itself with another K, quack. You also get a vowel sound in the middle that isn't one we typically hear. It's like an ah, it's very nasally, quack. And nasally syllables are just inherently kind of funny. So when you put all of that together, quack, it just becomes a comical sounding word. Now, of course, these are societal expectations and norms that we're kind of breaking and playing with here. So that might not be the case for other cultures and other people from around the world. Some people might hear the word quack and not find it funny. But you also might hear the word quack and immediately associate it with a duck because the word is an onomatopoeia. And ducks are kind of funny. There are a couple of other things that make words really funny. For instance, if you have a rude sounding or lewd sounding word within your bigger word, like cockroach, for instance, it's gonna immediately be pretty funny to people. You can also get funny sounds by rhyming or using alliteration. So how do we use all of this in songwriting? Now, when you're thinking about songwriting, you can obviously still think about the meaning of your song, but you can give your words some extra power by basically using the sounds of the words themselves to either imitate your point or contradict your point. Or you can just play around with nonsense verse. For instance, I Am the Walrus makes absolutely no sense, but that song is incredibly conscious when it comes to phonesthetics or when it comes to the sonic quality of the words. The actual sounds of the words are giving us a lot of context. I think this is also a really big reason that the Shins are popular. A lot of their songs are very sonically based. If you're listening to the sounds of the words, they flow in this beautiful way, which allows us as the listeners to sometimes glaze over the meanings, but also to relate to them a little bit more once we figure out what those words actually mean. So if you want to use these things in your songwriting, you can absolutely use onomatopoeia, you can use inherently funny words, you can use inherently beautiful words and phonesthetics. There are tons of ways to play around with this. And with all of that said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to leave a like, let me know in the comments, let me know your favorite funny word, maybe, or even your favorite beautiful word. And be sure to subscribe and ring the little bell if you want to be notified the next time I post.